Hey, 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 everyone. Welcome to Mind Power Meets Mystic. This is Cynthia Varkevisser, your residential mystic. Michelle Walters is taking well-deserved time off because she has been working her butt off lately. And if you haven't seen her, she is working on her 5-day challenge that I highly recommend you all check out. So, here we are, Mind Power Meets Mystic. I thought it would be a good time to talk about the empowered empath. The reason I'm talking about this is I found that a lot of my friends are having challenges with their energy level. Not that they don't know how to work their energy, but they find that it's a little bit sporadic. And if they're having challenges, I'm feeling like maybe everyone else probably needs a little bit of a refresher as well. Now, if you're listening to Mind Power Meets Mystic, I am pretty sure that you know that you have intuitive qualities and that you are an empath. And you're saying, Cynthia, I know what to do. I throw up my protection. I do these things. And I say, bravo, I totally believe you. And let's check in and see if there aren't any places where you need a tune up. Okay. Um, I'm willing to bet that if you are listening to this podcast, that you are somehow of service, that you're either in service, in a service related profession, that you're in service to your community, that you are the caregiver or completely in service to your family. And we completely forget that we need to be in service to ourselves. This is not a self-care thing. Again, this is about a tune-up. And I want to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves by seeing if we are maybe missing in some of these places. So let me do a couple of quick check-ins. When we are completely in our power and things are going our way, we know that people have what you do you, I do me. What else do people say? It's not my barbecue, not my circus. Um, what I'm saying is, you know that that person is in their energy and that you're watching them in their energy and you are compassionate as they're working out their thing and you're standing in your energy, listening to whether or not you go in and help and be of service or you stay in the observer mode, which is also a form of service. So let's make sure whether or not you are um, really holding your line as an empath, meaning that you're really in your power. So let me give you a couple of questions and see if you've done this lately. These are examples, by the way. So find a way to make it relevant to make sure you're okay, right? Number one, lately, have you been in line at a store and you see some kind of conflict? Maybe it's, the customer is upset because they're not getting the price that they want from the checkout clerk, or the checkout clerk is got a little bit of an attitude or whatever, but you see this exchange and it makes you uncomfortable because you know that there's conflict. However, it's conflict, right? And that happens. But when you get up to the clerk, you'll find that you are uncomfortable because you feel the energy of that. So even though you witnessed it 5 people back, you felt some sort of way. But when you are in the actual space of the conflict, that you're feeling the conflict kind of making you uncomfortable. If that's what you feel, guess what? You are not completely in alignment, and that energy is now seeping into your space. Okay. What about, have you ever been to a meeting lately and in person and you feel that the vibe is not right? Either the person in front of you is not vibing with you, across from you, or the person to your side is not vibing with you. Just feel uncomfortable. You actually turn your body, you shift your body to the side as a personal shield from this space so that you're not directly in front of that person's energy or directly in line with that person's energy. If you're doing that, guess what? You're slightly misaligned with your empathic power. The third one, of course, my favorite is because everyone knows that you're the go-to for challenges and needing to vent, when people need to vent, that they just listen. This actually just happened to be this morning. Someone needed to vent. And uh, without knowing it, you're offering advice. It's unsolicited. Guess what? You are not aligned with your empathic power unless you're channeling that information and your channel is saying, go forth and submit this information. You're coming from your empathic place, which is doesn't mean that you're there to share, but that you have this information. That means that you need to bump up your empathic power or alignment. Okay, so have you found yourself doing one of those things? Trust me, this is my profession for decades, and I find that I still do this stuff from time to time. It happens to the best of us because we're human beings. Okay, so let's talk about it. But before we talk about what we can do to fluff ourselves up and enhance our empowered empath, I want to talk about how we respond. Because once we know how we respond, we also know what tools we can use that work for us. Okay. Um, the first one, oh, just so you know, not the first one, just so you know, empaths protect themselves similarly when people are in a fear-based mode. This is what I mean. When we're in fear, what you hear is that you're either in fight, that you're in flight, or that you're in freeze. As an empath, when we are not exactly in alignment, we are in fight, flight, freeze, or fix. Those are the 4 places that we go. So you're like, Cynthia, I don't do that. Well, here's an example. If you say, boundaries, I need to work on my boundaries. I got to work up on my boundaries. That's a defensive mode. And that is similar to a fight simulation. Okay. So when we are saying that, what we're doing is that we're putting our energy on the boundary and not our empowerment. There's a difference. One is defensive and one is expansive, right? One checks in and the other one expands out. The second one has to do with flight. Flight, you're saying, Cynthia, I don't do that. I don't run. Well, if you find that you are turning in another direction, just like I said, where you're moving your body, or if you pretend that you haven't seen that person, guess what? You are in flight mode. Okay. After flight mode, there's the third, which is freeze. People who are not aligned in their empathic energy, the freeze is also overwhelm. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling confused, that is similar to a freeze mode. And then the last one is fix. And I find that empaths like to do this the best because what they feel is if they can go ahead and fix, it makes them feel good because they have participated in a certain way and they're giving people advice on how to go ahead and take care of themselves. The challenge is sometimes people do this want someone to listen or vent, or they don't want to change. They just want to get some kind of energy from you, right? And I'm not saying that they're, quote unquote vampires, but there are people who like to stay within their challenge. And trust me, I know what that's like because I'm one of them, right? And so the empaths, those who are on the listening side or the receiving side, when they don't want to deal with this anymore, meaning that it's getting into their energy and it's starting to drain them or whatever, then they go into fix. Fix mode is awesome if you're coming from generosity. Fix mode is misaligned if you're coming from ego. or hurt feelings or something other than generosity. So if you're not coming from a full heart and it's an altruistic thing, or that it's channeled and your source is saying, give this information, take a look. What's happening is that you are out of alignment. Okay, now it's a lot of information, and I'm going to take a breath right here and remind you that you're listening to Mind Power Meets Mystic. We are in the midst of this amazing giveaway where you can get a session with Michelle Walters and myself doing a Mind Power Meets Mystic project. It is a half-hour reading with me where we amp up or release something that's bothering you. And Michelle is on standby. And as soon as we are done with our session, she seamlessly comes into your session and I leave, and you have a private hypnotherapy session with her that is tailored just for you and what we have talked about. So she'll confirm that these are the things that you want to work on. And after the hypnotherapy session, she gives you a copy of the whole session as well as a separate MP3 to listen to the hypnotherapy in times of need or as a daily boost, which I highly recommend. Okay. And how you do that is you comment on Mind Power Meets Mystic. Also have your friends take a listen. We have great information, and like, we are infinitely curious. So please, 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 interact with us. We are dying to hear what you want to know more about because we want to be curious with you. Okay, back to this empowered empath. Let me do a really quick recap. We talked about, here are some suggestions to see whether or not you are fully in alignment and empowered as an empath, right? And if you're not, what are one or more of the ways that you handle not being in alignment as an empath? Do you fight? Do you use flight? Do you get overwhelmed? Or do you try and fix? Okay. Once we realize that we are not in alignment and that our energy is being drained, I'm not going to say leak, because I really believe that we know what we're doing, but we just can't help ourselves. And, like, sometimes I think about kids who they know that they're doing something that's naughty. They don't exactly know that it's naughty, but they know that maybe they shouldn't be doing it, right? They don't exactly know why, but they are. Same for empaths and the draining of energy. We know that maybe this is not the time to give information or not the time to say, I need to work on my boundaries. This is just a really good time to reset in one way, shape, or form. So figure out what it is that you do. And here are some tools that you can do, right? So what you want to do is, if you're in fight, which is the whole boundaries thing, I highly recommend that you do a reset. And the reset is really simple. Get in, really feel your body, feel your energy, because that's the energy that matters. Okay. And that's in your personal space. So you're talking about your physical body, your energetic body, and then add this one thing, which is, I'm in my space. I know the strength and the shape and the clarity of my body and space. And I intend energies like mine or better to come and interact with me. And guess what? All of a sudden, you become invisible to the people who are complaining or, wanting something that doesn't match your vibe. And so you actually get a little bit of a rest. So it's a boundary without it being a boundary. The other thing that I like to do is, my favorite meditation when I'm feeling a little bit, bullied's not the word, but I'm feeling a little victimy. I like to sit and play with my energetic body. So I feel my body. And if you've hung out with me before, I do the get really into your body. So simultaneously feel the bottoms of your feet, the tips of your fingers, and the top of your head. And once you do that, feel every cell in between. I mean, that really gets you present and in your body. Then you move beyond and you focus on your energetic body. Then what I like to do is I just like to sit in my energetic body, visualize it or feel it. For those of us who aren't very visual, you can feel it, you can sense it, you can just know. And then you allow your energetic body to expand out. There's so many ways to do it. Mine is just, I like to expand it out like putting air in a balloon. I just allow the universe energy, I receive it, and I just let it, fill up my energy, my energetic body. And then I play with it like again, like a balloon. I expand it, I contract it, but I always make sure to leave it in an expanded space so I don't feel like um, people are going to get to me emotionally, like if I'm really super sensitive or feeling a little bit bitchy and I know that I need to do a reset and get back to compassion. So if you're the boundary person, let the expansion be your boundary, not putting up a boundary, just expand. And if you're not feeling expansive, then you just say, hey, my energy are better. So that's what that's my recommendation um, for those of us who are in the fight mode. All right. The next one is if you're in flight mode, you can do a simple thing as what I said before, the same as fight. But the thing that I like to do is I like to do this thing called, um, uh, I know the word, Olay that shit. So think of a bullfight. I really wanted to um, capitalize on Olay that shit, but it's a little bit of appropriation. So I'll talk about it and we'll go from there. But think of a bullfight, and you think as the bull goes through the cape, everyone says "Olay," right? And if you want to know the truth, I did not make up this phrase. That actually came from Major League, where someone wouldn't get in front of the ball. Instead, they try and let the ball go to the side, and his glove goes away, and it's Olay that shit. So think of this is when you feel their energy, you just Olay that shit. Let it go to the side. Let it go away from you. All right. That's all you need to do. If someone says something that's a little bit wackadoodle in your energy, that doesn't align with your energy, Olay that shit, right? That's all you have to do. Um, it's a really it feels really good because what happens is you can just feel their energy go right by you and you're protected without doing anything, without having to put up boundary. You just go, ooh, I just Olayed that shit. So there you go. The third thing, when we're in overwhelm, so overwhelm is a really good time to have self-care, right? Maybe you just need to have a different kind of reset, just time to yourself where you have quiet or surround yourself with all the things that are delicious to you so that you can recharge. And a lot of times that's what overwhelm does. It just means your batteries are low and you just got to recharge. And sometimes we can't do that, right? We're in the middle of something and we don't have the time to recharge, or something has come in and has confronted us, I think is a good word to say. And we realize that we can't run away. That's not the right thing to do. And the energy is coming in pretty overwhelmingly, right? So what I like to do with that, or what I like to recommend, is to have an to have a phrase that has energy but doesn't cost you any energy. So let me give you an example. If someone comes in and they are absolutely angry and they're just a barrage and there's no place for you to go, there are no other things for you to do, you can just feel that energy starting to just seep into your space. These are the people that, like everyone else, they want to be acknowledged. They need to have some kind of something to help them um, displace or dissipate that energy. So what my teacher taught me is to come up with a phrase that acknowledges the person, and it means everything and it means nothing. So for my teacher, she used to say, how interesting. And the way that she'd say it is interesting. And then when she'd do it to me, I'm like, oh shit, am I too much in the since I knew. But here's the beauty of it. That's interesting. When she would say that's interesting, what she's saying is, I'm listening to you. You're an interesting person. You have something to say that's important to you, right? And at the same time, I'm not giving out any of my energy. I'm not giving any advice. I'm not doing anything, right? That's I'm not doing anything that jeopardizes any of my energy. For me, I'm an excitable person. So for me, is it's that's amazing. And what I'm saying is, you know, you're an amazing person. I absolutely adore you and respect you. I may not have the energy to be able to give you exactly what you need, but I'm here for you. And just keep talking because I'm listening. And it doesn't, again, it doesn't take any of my energy. So I recommend that you come up with a phrase just like that. And what it does is that it helps dissipate that the person who's sending the barrage of energy, because they're they're being recognized, they're being acknowledged, and that's what they're looking for. They're not always looking for someone to agree with them. They're just looking for acknowledgement. And that gives you a moment to help dissipate that information, dissipate their energy. And maybe from there, your energy will boost up, or they will have had the thing that they need, which is acknowledgement, and they will go away. Or then you can use one of the other things, right? Now, for those of us who want to fix, this is my very, very favorite, and that is the counter. The counter. This was also taught to me. This is not a manipulation move, and there is absolute beauty in. So here's the counter. Um, the person who we always usually fix are the people who are coming in, they're complaining, or there's a problem. There's always something that they're looking for a solution or resolution, whether they listen to you or not, who knows, but there's that thing. So the counter is, and I have someone in my life who does this. And when I'm feeling like I have the energy, I hold space for them. If I don't have a whole lot of space, I can say, I have this many minutes for you. I absolutely love you. So what you got in this many minutes? And sometimes I have none of that. And so here's the counter. As soon as they pick up the phone, I say, I am so glad you called. And then I start complaining. I am having a horrible day. So and so accidentally, gave me a flat tire as we were walking in the grocery store. There was not this or that at the grocery store. And then I couldn't find my credit card or whatever. And you just complain as soon as they pick up the phone. And then you say, ooh, that felt so good. I love you so much. I'm so grateful you called. I gotta go, and goodbye. Talk to you soon. And then goodbye. And then you giggle your ass off when you're done. Now, here's the beauty of it. It gives the person who's on the giving side the opportunity to receive. They get the chance to be the teacher or the advisor, or at least the listener, and learn how to hold space. That is something new to them because they know how to be one and so well that they forget that they have the wherewithal, the capacity to be the other. And you, my lovely empaths, typically don't complain. And so this is a chance for us to really air out what's going on with our lives. So we actually have to be a little bit vulnerable, right? And so we can go ahead and vent and be okay with it. So we're both uncomfortable, believe it or not. Me giving my being vulnerable is uncomfortable for me and absolutely important. And then the person that's listening Maybe they're uncomfortable. I'm going to assume just because that's not what they expected. And then they get to decide what to do with all the information that you just gave. Okay. So my empowered empaths, we've got check in on yourself. Here are some examples to see whether or not you are in alignment today. Find out if you're not in alignment, where are you coming from? Fight, flight, overwhelm, which is freeze, or fix. And then what solutions do you want to use? Come up with your own and then share your experiences with other empaths, because believe it or not, we need this. We need this vulnerability right now in order for us to be in alignment with each other, in order to strengthen ourselves, to see where we could do some work, to see where we can be of service, because isn't that what it's all about, my fellow empaths? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. Know that I have a talk on this that I have given out to groups. So if you have a group of people that you might be interested in sharing this, I am happy to give that talk. Oh, what else? I hope that you found this of value. I love being of service, and may you be blessed in everything you do today. Bye.